Aw, rain. Not rain. Man, you can't see anything. Oh, the rain passed.
there's a ship. So that goes there. This goes here. Domestically. Fits. everything else goes to one. Now, new wire. Regardless of shit, the dish ends up at the top. I got to prepare for the dish to be up top because got a better chance of clearing the mounts. No, I don't. Now it's time. When I go back, it's going to be the pictures on the side. The side. The thing that my mask clamps do is here and here, these crossover blades. The concern now is, will my angle that the dish mounts at be able to clear the angle bracket that mounts against these crossover plates, knowing that they're going to be about here. It could be narrower. I wouldn't expect it to be taller. If this is at a complete, say, right angle to where those two mounts are, then this dish isn't going to be able to clear it. So now I need to worry about is what is the, I basically need to say, what's the angle between my sight and the new sight? Like what angle does this dish need to be pointed at? And I guess really what I care about is the bearing, the relative bearing between the angle iron that this mounts to and the angle where the point-to-point link needs to be pointed. So that's really the critical thing, is relative to the angle iron, where does the dish need to be pointed? So I haven't been to the site in quite a while, but we do have pictures of it. And we did do a survey, so we have a rough feel that the angle is going to be. Go back and look at the pictures and try to see what ends up being just roughly the angle. I'd rather put the dish down here to make it where the wind load, most of the pressure is real close to the mounts, so that way we have less of a lever motion. And then two, I'd rather have it be lower because then it's further away from my Omni, so that way when people are trying to connect to the Omni up top, there's at least a little bit more separation, so this antenna won't pick up as many of the subscribers connected to that. You know, ideally they'd be really far apart, given that this is an Omni, but that's just not an option at the site. So here, I want to separate them as much as I can, because small differences make a big impact. It's not the end of the world if this ends up mounting directly underneath here where the camera and the power and data distribution blocks are, but it's certainly suboptimal. All right, so I think I found pictures of the water tower now. And luckily, I've got a 360 picture as well. So what I'll do is get it to where I think it needs to be, and then show it to y'all. I'm not going to end up doing any of the wiring tonight. I just simply am running out of time with it being 8:30. I could, though, go ahead and get this problem solved. So, look at the 360 picture now. It's just a little bit. While it's loading, I'll go ahead and give you guys a quick walk around of the equipment here. So, we've got a MikroTik MANT 30. So this is our 30 dB
a point-to-point dish. It's about 600 millimeters diameter. That's connected to a microtic metal, or sorry, microtic net metal. Then the actual mast itself is Schedule 120 pipe. So the mast plus these crossover brackets, which are inch galvanized steel, end up weighing about 60 pounds total. Right now I just have it sitting on top of a tripod just for staging purposes. It's not actually intended to go like that. So you can see the crossover plate. The whole point is to go from mounts that are horizontal to going to mounts that are vertical. So this thing clamps onto what will be angle iron going in right here. Then we have another one of the crossover plates. Then up here is where we have the network camera array. Right now they're just empty cases, but we've got 4 of these waterproof housings, and so I have cameras in there. Then on the back of that, we've got mounted these microtic power boxes. They're only 100 megabit, but they have 1 PoE in and then 4 PoE out that are switched and monitored. So we'll be pulling 2 lines to each of these power boxes. I'll be running off of that. These will be switched together down at the base of the tower. So we'll have 2 lines going from the base up to here. So one of these boxes is just going to control the 4 cameras. The other one is going to control the point-to-point. And then we have a 2.4 gigahertz Omni that's really just for site surveillance. And then we have the Omni, the 5 gigahertz Omni, that is actually the point-to-multipoint for HamWAN. So for this other box, you got 1, 2, 3 things connected to it. So we'll have 1 open port on this in case anything goes haywire or doesn't quite cooperate. That also gives us a little bit of room for growth in the future. You can't really daisy chain those power boxes off of each other. We need too much power in order to do that. They're limited with what sort of power they can do. So that's what it is. The Omni is the 5 gigahertz Omni up over there is a made by Ubiquiti, and then we have a router board. The same radio is what we normally use in our sector radios in our standard waterproof housing, just a metal housing there. That way it cuts down on interference because the boards, the traces themselves do radiate a bit. So looking back on my 360 photo now, it's time to figure out what sort of incidental angle there is. And it looks like here is what the strut itself looks like. We're going to be snapping the 2 crossover plates right to that stuff here in between these 2 existing antennas. And looking for stuff downtown. I don't see anything. The site that we want to connect to is downtown. However, I do see these 2 buildings which are in East Memphis, so I know that I actually need to be pointing my point-to-point further in this direction. You can see that the stitching, the photo stitching, did something crazy there. That tells me that I need to basically have the point-to-point link pointed at probably about 45 degrees counterclockwise off of where the crossover plates are. So that tells me too, looking at the spacing between the 2 angle iron pieces, I'm certainly not going to have space for that. So we'll have to swap the point-to-point dish and the cameras and power. Those just the cameras will be able to fit in between just fine, but the point-to-point dish isn't. And so that's suboptimal, but that's what we got to do. Out of time for tonight though, so I'll be picking that up and doing the wiring on Friday. So hopefully I'll have better weather earlier in the night, so I won't have to do it in the dark. And then we can get some wiring done and get the final loadout done and have everything tested. I've programmed everything and already run it sitting on the floor, but we've not actually made the jumper wires. I want to go ahead and get all the jumpers created. So that's the whole point of this. I will see you all on Friday.